Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Kraus.
Yes, hello, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Glad to have you listening. Welcome, and all that stuff. How you doing, Ian?
I am busy, Kyle. I am very busy.
And it's probably stuff you can't even talk about.
Not for years.
Oh.
At the most.
For years?
Yeah. It's exciting stuff. It's really cool. Can't wait to talk to you guys about it. But right now I've got like 4 major ongoing projects that aren't going to be done anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
On top of, I'm going to have more IDW Sonic work coming up towards the end of the year. Plus, Drogoon's first birthday is right around the corner. Plus, I need to get the BumbleKast Q&A master list done. Plus, as I teased on Twitter, I am putting together a web store where you will be able to buy signed comics and such by me, from me. But that requires a whole lot of work on my end. And as stated, I'm a little busy.
Yeah. Things were in fact so busy and so weirdly stressful this year that we actually completely missed the 5th anniversary of the BumbleKast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing we do.
Yeah, this thing right here. 5th anniversary.
We've been doing it for 5 years, apparently.
Yeah, we completely missed it. It started like at the beginning of October, and I think we even released an episode on the day of, but we completely just forgot. We just completely forgot. Yeah, it's like, does this year really count, though?
Not really. This is kind of like everyone's general just set off to the side year and say, you know what? 2021 may have been the end of the world, but 2020, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was just the lead up. At least 2021 put a bow on things.
You mean 2012?
That's what's wrong. We always expected it would be 2012. But no, it was written wrong.
It's backwards.
It's going to be 2021.
Okay. It was the dyslexic year of 2021. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense.
To be fair, the Mayans weren't taking into account Arabic numerals or the Gregorian calendar, so
no,
it's forgivable
for good reasons.
Yes,
because neither of those things existed at the time, and even if they did, they didn't know about them. So it's a completely arbitrary thing. They had to end it at some point. Oh well, whatever. So happy 5 years, BumbleKast, and change. Happy 5 years and change at this point. Couple
Thank
weeks.
you, everyone who has listened and stuck with us for this long, especially all you lovely patrons who have made us get to the 5-year mark and will hopefully be with us into another 5.
Yeah, another 5, 10, 15, 20 million. Who knows? Who knows? It's been a while, so I'm glad to keep it going, though. This is something I look forward to every week. I gotta have something to look forward to every week.
So let's get into it, shall we?
Yes, let's go ahead and answer some questions.
Now, if you want your question answered on the show, you need to email us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com, tweet to us at BumbleKast, comment on any of the old YouTube videos. If you're a patron, post anywhere on the Patreon page or somewhere in the Discord, preferably the Q&A channel. If you want your question answered sooner rather than later, send us $5 as a patron or $6 via Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/BumbleKast.
Yeah, ask Q&A channel. That's where you need to put your questions. I won't take them anywhere else. Just to put that out there. Anyway, go ahead.
Big Daddy Kyle laying down the law. Speaking of which, there's a few ground rules. Number 1, if the question has been answered within the last few episodes, we're not going to answer it. We list all those questions under each episode on YouTube, so please check those first. Number 2, if they have been covered on one of the FAQs over on BumbleKing.com, not going to answer them because they've already been answered on the FAQs. And number 3, if you're going to be asking details about what might have happened in the Archie Sonic universe had things not been canceled, I will be getting to that eventually one day in Lost Hedgehog Tales, just not in the foreseeable future. So, not going to answer it. All right, with all of that fun out of the way, let's get to the real fun, the actual fun. Not fun with a PH, fun with an F. Kyle, let's start off with the priority Q&A.
Let's do it to it. Here's one from Noni to start us off. I've been binging a bit of Sonic games, and I've noticed that a lot more interesting stores are either run by Chow, i.e. the black market. Is there a reason such adorable critters seem to fall into a potentially life-threatening career? Are they predisposed to being merchants, and just a few of them take things a bit far? Is there anything from Sega explaining this particular bit of Chow background? I guess what I'm asking is, who taught the babies crime? Also, who taught them how to use heavy machinery? Have they always been this smart, or are there special cases?
Well, first we got to look at the fact that the Chow are very impressionable as a species. You know, they snuggle a bird, they gain wings. They snuggle anybody, they gain their traits. And money is the root of all evil. So any Chow that is involved in any kind of mercantile system is going to be exposed to money and thus evil. Therefore, they get into shady stuff like the black market. It's just the nature of the universe.
Makes sense to me.
As for heavy machinery, a wizard did
it. Don't think about it too hard. Don't think about it too hard.
I mean, there is a school dedicated to the education of Chow, and I'm pretty sure most of that heavy machinery more or less works like a busy box you give to a toddler. So yeah, it's Babby-style machinery.
Yeah, sure, why not? Our next question comes from Scruffymatt. Ian and Kyle, oh wise and knowledgeable sages of truth, I have a problem. Every night I lay awake trying to figure out the answer to one question and one question only. I've been tormented with many sleepless nights in pursuit of this answer, and now I turn to you both in my hour of need. Gentlemen, you are my last hope. Please tell me, what is the answer to this question? Who is the best Darkwing Duck villain? Is it Megavolt, Steelbeak, or Nega Duck? I can't choose.
It's Taurus Bulba.
I mean, he was pretty great in the new episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that episode was just chef kiss.
I know,
love it.
It was phenomenal. It's one of the best Darkwing Duck things I've ever seen. I think it was so good.
It found this beautiful balance of meta commentary and fan service while also building its own brand. It's exquisite. It almost feels like the show they wanted to do instead of DuckTales.
Yeah.
Like the past 2.5 seasons were only a way to get the backdoor pilot out there. But yeah. I'll take it. I'm fine with it.
I mean, yeah. I'll take both. Why not? Let's have both. I would like a DuckTales show. Goslin was freaking fantastic. And yeah, it was just excellent. So of the three listed though, it's hard to say, man. They're all good.
I was never a big fan of Steelbeak.
Yeah. I mean, Steelbeak kind of feels like a second stringer compared to Megavolt and Nega Duck.
Mm-hmm.
Megavolt and Nega Duck are like big supervillains. Steelbeak is just kind of like a crime lord guy, you know?
He's a Bond villain in a superhero show.
Right.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I was never wild about him.
Yeah, he's a little he doesn't have superpowers or anything really, except for, you know, his beak being basically he's Jaws.
Yeah.
So yeah. Jaws with more intelligence.
Jaws aspiring to be Blowfield.
Yeah, something like that. So Nega Duck is just a palette swap evil version of Darkwing Duck, so you know, that's fun and all, but
I'm a sucker for the evil twin.
Me too. I do. Me too. I dig it, but it's still like, you know, if we're going for a 100% original villain, Megavolt is a good one. I don't know. I can't choose either. I can choose either, Scruffy. I think you're on your own for this one. Next question comes from Papadripopolous. Iizuka's repeatedly said the Chaotix were rebooted in 2003. You've mentioned often having issues, particularly using material from the game Chaotix. And if you read the Japanese manual's character descriptions, it becomes clear that the characters are just too drastically different from their 2003 onwards versions to work as a cohesive interpretation. Do you think in a classic Sonic book, such as the miniseries IDW announced that, if I recall correctly, hasn't been confirmed, whether you're writing it or not, do you think they'd allow the Chaotix to appear? Or would the use of the classic Chaotix cause too much conflicts with the modern interpretations? Would they allow it if it were the classic designs but modern personalities, etc.? Just asking you to guess from your experience.
It's hard to say because the classic brand being a brand is still very new, and I don't think there's really a ton of hard and fast rules associated with it just yet. Ipso facto, he's from a parallel dimension now, not just the past. So I would wager... Well, all right, let me put it this way. If I were to try to get the Chaotix in a classic set book, I would pitch it as their Chaotix design, but with their modern sensibilities. I really would be surprised if they didn't go that route, just because for what it is, Chaotix is kind of a weird one-off, and the modern crew has been far better established, especially in the public general eye. So my fairly confident guess is that if we ever do see a classic Chaotix, they will most likely be classic in design, modern in interpretation. That being said, I'm not expecting to see the classic Chaotix anytime soon. I'm willing to bet that the classic cast is going to stay very tightly regulated. I don't think we're going to see a lot of stuff. If we see anything, I would hope they mine the classic era stuff, bring back the Witch Carters, bring back the Battle Birds, heck, bring back Honey. She falls under that umbrella.
Yeah.
But I don't really foresee a lot of modern stuff getting the classic treatment. And I kind of feel like my interpretation of what I've heard is that the Chaotix as we know them today are the version of the Chaotix. That the classic versions don't really count anymore. But I could be wrong. I really don't know.
I hate that. Just saying. I really do. I wish we had the classic Chaotix.
I mean, I kind of do, but I also kind of like the classic cast being smaller.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
I'm not saying...
the modern cast has kind of ballooned into something gargantuan, and I kind of like the simplicity of classic. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Bring back the hooligans. They should do that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's a thing. That's the thing that needs to happen. All right, here's one from Andrew D. Are there any events or lore from past games that you wanted to explore or expand upon but was told you couldn't? If so, can you say what they were? Some things I'd love to see explored are why one of the 7 Chaos Emeralds was missing until Sonic 2, what the Hidden Palace Zone on West Side Island was for, and why the plans for the Death Egg 2 from Fighters was seemingly scrapped until the Death Egg Mark II in Sonic 4. There are a whole bunch of unexplained bits in the past that are ripe for exploring.
I feel like there were specific things over the years that I tried to pitch and were like, no at the time, but at the same time, they may have been approved later on as I got a little more savvy into how to pitch things and get them to do. Like around the reboot era, we weren't allowed to show characters being younger, but by using the classic designs, we could imply that they were younger. And I think one thing specifically was that we couldn't really show classic Sonic at a certain point, so we just had him drawn mostly like classic Sonic, but with the green eyes. There was one story in particular where we weren't allowed to show classic Eggman, so we just put him in a mecha that had everything but his face.
Well, I mean, that's one way to get around it.
I would have loved to have followed up on Infinite and what happened to the Phantom Ruby, but that's off the table. I don't know. It really does vary from era to era. Like the point I keep coming back to is that Cream and Omega were both off limits for a long while. I know you're asking more like plot elements or mysteries within the games, exploring the original Sonic 2 Hidden Palace or touching upon Wood Zone would be great, but I don't know. It's been so long since I've been trying to mine the old stuff to revitalize it. My focus lately over the past few years has been to move forward with what we have. So some of that has fallen by the wayside.
Next up, here's one from Chris A. Are you sure you want the Freedom Fighters to come back into IDW Sonic?
Sure.
I mean, why not? They're hugely popular, majorly requested. I'm sure you can put them in there somewhere, Ian. You're smart.
If not me, somebody else. So, yeah.
Somebody else can figure it out. Or you can. Somebody can.
I am open to a lot of options.
Yes. And finally, here's the final question from Blue Title Gamer. The final priority question, at least. Ian, who's your favorite member of the Babylon Rogues? I feel they're underrated characters in the series who, up until IDW, haven't much to do in Sonic stories besides the Sonic Riders games. We've seen Sonic go up against his rivals plenty of times throughout Sonic media, but not enough of Jet, I feel. Here's hoping we get to see more of them in IDW, maybe as secondary leads to a future story.
I think they work best as a unit, even though Jet gets the star billing and cameo appearances. My personal favorite is Storm because I love the big dumb lunk, Palooka, right-hand man trope. That's just fun. Wave, I feel like, is the most interesting of the characters because she has this mother-hen type approach to keeping the team in order when she's not that much older than Jet. And the dynamic being that, you know, she and Storm are both older than him by a little bit, and yet he is the leader of the Rogues is kind of fun, and I wish they would do more with that. Jet himself is okay. I feel like he's kind of vanilla.
Yeah.
He's a rival, to be sure, and the fact that he will not accept victory by anything other than his own talents is a neat quirk. But beyond that, there's not a whole ton to him. And it'd be nice if we got a little more into what came before the Rogues. Why is he the leader of the Rogues? What is his goal beyond go faster than Sonic? Which, in terms of a racing game, you don't really need that. But in terms of using them as characters in the future, I hope we can do a little bit more. I feel like we were able to touch upon it a little bit with their appearance in the Metal Virus saga, but I don't know. They need to have something to them. They need a little more pizzazz, and I feel like if they were pushed a little closer to antagonists rather than just rivals, we'd get that little bit of extra spice.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add, really. Jet's kind of boring. There's a question for me, though.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Kyle, is there any video game franchise that have been away for a long time that you desperately want to see make a comeback?
F-Zero. Bam. That was an easy answer. F-Zero desperately needs to make a comeback. I don't care if it's a remaster of GX to make it HD. Whatever, man. Just do it. Nintendo. What are you waiting for? Christmas? Because if it's coming out on Christmas, I'll take it. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can think of any others off the top of my head. There's games that have... There's series that have had new games, but the games haven't been very good. Does that count? Because like Star Fox is another one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mega Man's kind of dormant again. What's going on with that? We had Mega Man 11 once, and then they're like, that's fine. And then and now they've done nothing. It's like, okay, well, sure. Mega Man 11 was good, but where's Mega Man X9 or something? More Battle Network. I don't care. Make Legends 3, except they probably won't. And they probably shouldn't because, it's kind of a slap in the face to the people who already started making Legends 3 the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's really all I can think of. Can you think of any, Ian?
Skies of Arcadia.
Well, yeah, that was the obvious answer from you, but
yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I would like to see more Kid Icarus.
Yeah. I mean, it got a fairly recent entry. That's why it didn't immediately come to mind. But yeah, you're right.
It did. But the 3DS seems to have gone dormant for the most part.
Well, yeah, and it's still been almost a decade, I think, since that game came out.
So I would be perfectly happy with just a remaster for the Switch. It was so charming and fun and lively and invigorating and gimme.
Yeah. Yep. I'm into it. All right, well, let's head on over into the standard Q&A this week. First up, PC the Unicorn. Ian, before the Sonic Boom comic was sadly canceled, did you have any ideas for what Boom versions of other Sonic characters would be like? And just for fun, what do you think Boom, Tangle, and Whisper would be like?
I remember that when I was pitching for the TV show, I got a chance to pitch a couple ideas for alternates on characters, and none of those took. I don't recall what any of those were off the top of my head. I think I tried to do something with the Chaotix and something with Rouge. With the comics, we never went that far because I don't think we would have had the clout to do that. I don't think we could introduce characters like that because we couldn't steal the thunder of the TV show.
Yeah.
Like if we'd come up with Boom Vector and then the TV show came out with their Boom Vector, it wouldn't have gone over well.
Things would have been weird, yeah.
Especially since Boom Vector was done perfectly in the TV show, so...
Oh, yeah. I freaking love Vector. I was like, holy crap, I'm really surprised at how much I like this version of Vector. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish we'd have gotten the rest of the Chaotix along with him, but okay, whatever.
For the story he was in, you didn't really need it.
I mean, yeah, they didn't need to be there, but it would have been nice to at least have seen them, to acknowledge their existence.
As for Boom, Tangle, and Whisper, Boom kind of took everybody's personalities to extremes. So Whisper, I would imagine, would be kind of like Styx in her standoffish nature, but in an extreme degree. Where Styx was kind of wary of outsiders, but very close to her friends, Whisper would be like super hermit, super sneaky, almost no dialogue, and... Oh, what was the...
I don't think she would be into conspiracy theories in the same way that...
No. She would just assume everyone's out to get her on a very personal level.
Oh, yeah.
No deep state, just everyone.
Okay, yes.
What were the little power-up doohickey critters in the running game? That would probably take the place of the wisps.
I don't remember.
Maybe they were called wisps, too. I don't remember.
Sprites,
there we go. Thank you. Yeah, sprites instead of wisps, since we didn't get wisps in Boom. Tangle would get a slight redesign, but would pretty much be the exact same character because she already is over the top ridiculous.
I was going to say, she'd just break the fourth wall more often. That's really it. But yeah, more sports tape and more fourth wall breaking. That's all you really need. Next up, Golden Dawn. Greetings to you. Perhaps this question has already been answered, but I cannot find the answer. Anyway, it's about the placement of Sonic CD in a possible timeline. Yes, this topic. Recently, it was discovered in an old Yamaguchi Yasushi, a.k.a. Tails creator, interview that Sonic CD is between Sonic 1 and 2, but it would seem that with the release of Sonic 4 Episode 2, the placement of Sonic CD seems to have been retconned to a somewhat generic before Sonic 4. Somewhere before Sonic 4. So my question is, Sonic CD, when does it happen? When exactly does it happen?
I don't think there's an official word on it, and this debate is so old and so tired.
Yeah.
It has been around since the long, long ago.
It's been around since Sonic 4 was a thing.
It's been around since Sonic CD was a thing.
I've always put it between 1 and 2, just...
That makes enough sense to me. Especially with the little Easter egg and CD of Tails saying, see you next time.
Yeah.
But the classic era games are more or less just individual adventurous romps. There's not a ton of continuity to be had between them. Yes, clearly Death Egg crashing from Sonic 2 into Angel Island into Sonic 3 into Sonic and Knuckles. I know. But in general, I think it's meant to be more episodic, adventurous, don't think too hard about it stuff.
Yeah.
Short answer being, it's wherever you want it to be.
Pretty much. And just forget about 4.
I am a 4 apologist, okay? Episode 1 was not great. I won't fight that one, but I enjoyed episode 2, doggone it. And episode Metal was very lackluster, but it was playable Metal Sonic, all right? You don't get that a lot.
True.
Episode 2 was fun, though. I liked how they used the Sonic and Tails dynamic. I liked the stage designs. The music, from what I remember, wasn't offensive. The Metal Sonic fights were kind of fun.
I hate the music. I mean, I'm just putting it out there.
It's not top tier Sonic music, but
it's Sonic 4 music. I don't like it. I've been over this actually before, but I don't know if we've talked about it on the BumbleKast or not. But the problem with Sonic 4's soundtrack for me is that it is desperately trying to be a like Sonic 1 or Sonic 2 style soundtrack, and it's not getting there.
No, it's not.
It's not. And it really hurts because it's Jun Senoway, who I know does good Sonic music, both classic and modern. So if he did it more in the style of Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles, where he actually was working on it, or Sonic 3D Blast, which those three he actually composed for, if he did it more in that style, I think that would have worked out better. So it's like the sound design is also kind of weird in it, in that the synth parts, the FM synth instruments are all wrong. They don't sound like Sega Genesis correct at all. But then it uses the Sonic 1 and 2 drum samples. So it's like, okay, the drums are correct, but the actual synth instruments are all wrong. So it's like, what is going on here? It's just, I don't know. It just freaks me out. So Sonic 4, I would say the music holds up a little bit better when it's been remixed. So when using different instruments or like actual live instruments and actually being played, yeah, it sounds pretty good that way, but I'm still not hot on it. I really think that's one of the more disappointing ones soundtrack wise. And that really colored my whole feeling on the games. Cause I mean, if you're going to call a game Sonic 4, you better kind of bring it because you have a lot to live up to. So those are my thoughts on it. It was like, it's just really kind of disappointingly mediocre overall. Next up, we got one from K. McConnell K. Hi, Ian. My question is about something said in issue 9 of the IDW comics. On the way to Angel Island, Rouge speaks to Shadow about the fact that he's not usually one for team-ups, and Shadow responds, "I'm here for my own reasons." And I was just wondering, what were those reasons? What were Shadow's reasons for going? Was it just so he could fight Neo Metal Sonic, or is it something else that might get revealed later? Or am I looking too much into a simple line? Either way, keep up the amazing work, and I really look forward to what you and Evan have planned for the future.
Thank you very much. And yep, you already guessed it. He was there to fight Neo Metal Sonic on his own terms, because that is the absolute depth of Shadow these days.
Super deep. And next up, Scurvy Pirate Hog has a question.
Yar.
Something I'm just curious about. A bit different than your typical questions, but since you recently mentioned the Robins from Batman in your latest BumbleKast, this must have been a little bit ago, What is your overall opinion on the Batman franchise? Or your opinion on Batman's arch nemesis, the Joker, since this year is his 80th anniversary?
And same question goes for you, Kyle.
Yes.
I've answered a lot. You go first.
I like Batman. He's all right. He's all right. And, yeah, I like Batman. Do I like it more than Superman? Kind of depends. Do I like Batman video games more than Superman's video games? Yes. I mean, I kind of have to because there are very few Superman games, but still.
It's like, Kyle, would you enjoy a fresh plate of pasta or eating broken glass?
Why not both? Not really. Not really. Yeah, I like Batman. What about you, Ian? Do you like Batman?
I like incarnations of Batman. I like the core idea.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been anything in the books that have drawn me in a long, long time. I think I like the idea of Batman more than I like what has been published in Batman for a while. In part because I think it's kind of taken itself way too seriously.
Oh, yeah.
The super grim and gritty and over-sexualized stuff that they were pumping out for a little while is just, it's not my cup of tea. And I'm not saying everything has to be, Batman Brave and the Bold. That is an absolutely delightful style of Batman, and I wish we had more of that.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like the animated series found that perfect sweet spot of he is the grim protector of the night in a world full of zombies and supervillains and all sorts of colorful chicanery. Joker is an interesting... He can be a fun arch nemesis to Batman when you are playing off the parallels. The darkness and the brooding versus the colorful and the manic, the reserved compassion versus the absolute sociopathy. But he's been played out so much. I'm so sick and tired of Joker.
I really, yeah, I don't disagree. I'm tired
like
of
the
seeing
storyline of, oh wait, there's actually 3 Jokers, and this is how we're going to explain his incredibly wild characterization of the years. No, stop it. Just kill him off. Be done with it. I'm so freaking tired of Joker. It's gotten to the point where he has become so ubiquitous that the supporting character that he spawned off of him, which is Harley, has gone on to grow into her own independent character, and now they're making knockoff Harleys in the form of Punchline. I mean, and I know that there are going to be Punchline fans out there who are saying, no, she's clearly her own character with this, that, and the other. And sure, there are going to be differences and nuances, but it's the hyper-violent Joker girlfriend with a clown theme. They're doing Harley again. And Punchline's options are to either be not Harley, which is no redemption arc, no growth, or to become Harley again, and we've already seen that in Harley. I'm tired of Joker. I get it. I get why he's charismatic. I get why he's, a moneymaker, but he's the Wolverine of DC Comics. Stop it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind never seeing Joker again. That would be great.
Just give him a break.
Yeah. Yep. Although, I mean, I really did love Lego Batman, the movie.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and like you said, the style of Batman the Animated Series, oh, that's just chef's kiss. Perfect, beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. Some of the best animated television ever. It's just wonderful. Just a perfect balance of just the weird, offbeat, silly, and the darkness. It's great.
Like the whole bit where I don't know if they're still focusing. I don't think they are, but for a while they were doing the whole thing where Batman was treating Bruce as the alter ego that he was completely devoted to the mission.
Yeah.
And getting so far up his own bat cave that the extended cast was worried about him and such and such. And it's an interesting take on it, but I feel like that's kind of the point where you're getting away from the fun of the character.
Yeah.
Mask of the Phantasm, I think, is one of the premier Batman stories, not just because Phantasm was cool and Joker was utilized in a good way, but because you treat Bruce as a character. One of the most poignant scenes is him at his parents' grave begging to be let off the hook of being Batman because he didn't think he would ever be happy again. That has more gravitas to it than any amount of bone breaks in subsequent Bat films. It's a very long answer to a very simple question.
Well, I suppose, but I mean, we could spend entire episodes talking about Batman and still never get through all the nuances of the character and everything that's ever existed about him. Personally, I love, you mentioned Brave and the Bold. Yeah, that's fantastic. Batman 66, yeah. I don't know, just that kind of silliness and kind of street-level-esque Batman is a lot of fun. So, I don't know. It's just, there's just so much to Batman that's enjoyable that it's tough to nail down. And then there's a lot of really crappy Batman things out there, too, So, whatever, take your pick. So, next question comes from Lucas R. Does Archie Sonic have a time limit on his super and ultra forms? If so, how long do they last now?
Those were never really specified. The super forms seemed to last as long as it needed to. And just off the top of my head, I can't immediately think of a super fight that didn't end with either some Deus Ex Machina forcing the fight to end or Sonic willingly giving up the power. I could be wrong. It's been a while. Ultra Form seemed to be very short-lived, though, given that it was only used once, twice if you want to count my complete overhaul of the original story as a separate thing. And that seemed to be a burn bright and fast type of form.
Yeah, I mean, Supersonic lasted as long as the plot needed. That's really what it boils down to. How long do they last? Who knows? Until they decide they don't. Next up, from Joe S. Can you share some of the stories of Archie Editorial versus Sega's influence? I've heard so much about ideas Sega has asked to be left out or changed, but I'm really curious to hear what it was like with the editors and how they helped in shaping the books. Even now with IDW, I'd love to hear the stories they helped to make better. Thanks.
Well, we covered a few of those on the show over the years. Famously, that House of Cards, I wanted it to be a very long and in-depth arc, and it was toned down to 2. That the Genesis storyline was editorial-driven. The very first story I did, Birthday Bash, was editorially done. It was, we're going to start it off with a birthday story, and we want to introduce Scourge. Go. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do that. And Darkest Storm was mostly, I want to say my idea, but it was with the editorial direction of let's wrap things up, because there were a bunch of lingering characters and subplots, and we tallied it up once, and that storyline covered 30-something ongoing plot points for the past 15 years or something. So that was a little crazy. I'm pretty sure I said at some point that the whole Monkey Khan arc, the Iron Dominion thing, I put into my springboard pitch as a joke option, something so bad that the editor would immediately throw it out, and it would narrow my choices down to something I was going for. And no, Mike liked that a lot. He thought that was the most interesting of the group. I'm like, why? So that's what we did. That's what we did.
That's a new one, actually. I did not know that, I don't think. That's a new one to me, at least.
Yeah, no, Iron Dominion was an entire spoof. It was meant to be so laughably bad that, you know, he'd get a chuckle and approve something that I wanted to do, like the Death Egg launcher, King Nagas, and nope, that's what we did.
It was a
Sonic Universe had to be 4 issues. Every story arc had to be 4 issues. And I'll admit, some of the arcs shouldn't have been 4 issues. They could have been done in 2. They could have been done in 3. They maybe needed 5, but we were hard locked into doing 4-part stories for that, which was an interesting challenge. And I like to think that most of the time I got it to go, but there are some stories that I feel like probably could have been adjusted.
Was that a trade? Was that a trades thing?
Yeah, that was so it could go straight to trade.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
The regular book wasn't quite as tightly held to that standard, but it was something that I also had to keep in mind. So,
right.
You know, the individual stories didn't necessarily fit into a 4-part arc, but the overarching idea for like the year would have to kind of keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Silver being part of Universe's 25th Silver anniversary, that came down from on high. It's like, we have to do it. But I want this story. Nope, it has to be a Silver story. All right, fine. What can I do with a Silver story? Big DBZ power fight. How about that? Sure, with what? Interjack. Yeah, that sounds cool. Okay, Tracy, can you do like Dark Machine got Interjack? And then he like trots out the first piece of concept art. It's like, oh, now I'm really excited about this story because that looks freaking cool.
Nice.
And kind of famously, Worlds Unite was me butting heads with Paul over the direction and the pacing and the utilization of stuff. And I don't know, there was a lot of different moving gears with that story, stuff that was above his head, stuff that was beyond my control entirely. And I think that all played a hand in it. The fact that we couldn't touch any of the extra Sega or Capcom guys until the final third definitely played a role.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some stuff that I should have just let go of. But overall, you know, it was a good experience. Mike taught me a lot about how to write for comics. Paul challenged me in a lot of creative ways. Vin was super chill and easy to work with. And now over with IDW, Joe was cool to work with. I wish I had more time to work with him. David's been a delight to work with, and he has come up with some very creative solutions when we've come into some issues here and there. Riley is probably going to be my editor at some point, depending on who lasts longer. Odds are it's going to be me. We have the precedent set, but I don't know. I've had a very, very blessed, long, good working relationship with, 5 editors at this point. So,
yeah,
you know, creative differences here or there, sure, but it's been a good time, and I'm glad to have worked with all of them.
Excellent. Now here's a question from Golden Lighting. We had Golden Dawn earlier, now we got Golden Lighting. I have a question regarding Blaze's morality. In Sonic 06, Blaze recalls the Chaos Emeralds. The only way this would be possible is if she experienced the events of Sonic Rush. This means she had to have known Sonic, but Sonic and Co. don't need to know her. This made me question her morality because she was never around when Silver tried to end Sonic. Would Blaze sacrifice the whole cast for the world?
I am not 100% sure I'm following the question, but right there you point out the issues that Sonic 06's story is a mess.
Yeah.
And does not sync well with anything else. And part of that is because of poor localization, but we're not going to get into all that again. I am honestly not sure. If we just look at 06 by itself, I'm honestly not sure where Blaze would fall on the whole destroying Sonic thing. The one thing that folks keep coming back to is there's a scene where Blaze is thinking about what's going on, and she recalls the words Mephiles said and speculates on the blue hedgehog. Now, the word in Japanese, which I do not recall off the top of my head, can be interpreted two different ways. It can be interpreted as the color blue, or can be interpreted as naive. We don't have anything like that in English. So the connotation in the original Japanese was that she's speculating the Iblis Trigger, the one who's going to destroy the world, is going to be the blank. Does she mean the blue hedgehog that Silver is all up about, or the naive hedgehog, which is what they were heavily marketing Silver as at the time? Clearly being that, oops, Silver is the actual Iblis Trigger. He was tricked into doing Mephilis's dirty work. All of that nuance is lost because of the poor translation. So, within that regard, she's already putting more thought into it than Silver was. Maybe she would have stepped in to save Sonic. I don't know. In Rush, she was very eager to light Eggman or Nega or both on fire and dance on their ashes. And Sonic's like, a little too far. And she's like, nope, going to stomp on you and do it anyway. So she definitely has had that killer edge. It's really hard to say.
I like that about Blaze. And to be honest, yeah, we need someone who's willing to do the hard jobs, you know?
Yeah, she's not heartless. She's not ruthless, but she don't take crap from nobody.
Exactly. That's why she's great. And finally, we have a question from Obfusca. And this one is incredibly super duper long, and I'm not going to read it. I'm going to read one sentence from it, because ultimately this is what it really boils down to. The whole context is there for you to read, Ian, so you kind of understand where they're coming from. But yeah, I'll just give you guys this one. This is really all you need to know. What I'm here to ask is, can Shadow still go super?
Yes, as far as I know. I don't see any reason why that would be off the table.
Yeah, for now, until you actually try it. And Sega's like, what? No, you can't do that.
If they let me trot out Super Silver, I'm confident that Super Shadow is still available.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe.
I mean, Shadow is... Oh, what can I say without getting in trouble? Shadow has a lot of attention put on him whenever we do anything with him in the comics. And I cannot see them taking away an ability from him and making him lesser than Sonic in any way conceivable. Let me just put it that way.
Interesting. And that's it. That's all we got.
Before we wrap it up, we're going to give a big thank you to everyone who makes this show possible for the past 5 years and counting.
Woohoo!
Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Robotnik Holmes, Mike B., Justin G., Torchbound, Coupling Crew 128, Duas Diz Din, Scruffymatt, Chris A., Andrew D., John M., Dawn B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle, Silly String, Takaro, Justin S., David M., Blue Title Gamer, Salute Your Cat, Overthinking Films, Sony, Tick Tick, Final Neil, Papadripopolous, Digama F. Wow, Invade Turbo Tunis, Jennifer H., Off, Jonathan D., Preston M., Lauren W., Rachel W., Goldzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Owen B.D., Piggy Bank, Daniel B., Somewhat Gooey, J. Frost.
J. Frost. Hi, J. Frost. And the rest of you, thank you for coming on board and being a supporter of the BumbleKast. You are all amazing.
Patrons, past, present, and future.
Indeed. Where can people find you on the internet, Ian?
You can find me on Twitter at IanFlynnBKC. Follow my release schedule and all sorts of news and stuff on BumbleKing.com. And my weekly free webcomic, Drogoon, that's DROGUNE.com, with its first birthday. Been a whole year.
Yay!
Just around the corner.
Woohoo!
What about you, Kyle?
You can find me on Twitter at KyleJCRB. You can also head on over to my website, kngi.org, where you can find archived episodes of the BumbleKast in MP3 downloadable format for your listening pleasure on any MP3 player device. Well, maybe except for those really old ones that had only like 16 megabytes of space on them. might not be able to get a whole BumbleKast on there. But I don't know. Maybe you could. You'd have to really compress it down. It would sound like garbage, but you could do it. You can also check out my other show, Nitro Game Injection, which is a video game music show all about the video game music remixes, arrangements, covers, and all sorts of other fan-made things that get released all the time. You can listen to that streaming live on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or check out the archives on the website.
You can follow the show on Twitter at BumbleKast, contact us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com, and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, our YouTube channel, and kngi.org. Check
out the Bumble store at shop.spreadshirt.com/Bumble Store, where you can get the Bumble items of your Bumble dreams. You have Bumble dreams, right? You should. I broke him.
You caught me off guard with that.
I got myself off guard with that one, to be fair. That literally just came out of my mouth. I mean, it didn't even go through my brain first. It just went right out. Right out.
That's because it's good stuff. Good content.
Oh, of course. That's what this whole show is. Great content. Listen to this. You want content? Here you go. This content will make you happy.
And follow us on BumbleKast Gaming Live. That's over on twitch.tv/BumbleKast Gaming, Sundays at 10 p.m. Eastern, and sporadically throughout the week. Subscribe to us on Twitch or keep an eye on the Twitter to find out when we're going to be streaming.
Yes. I really do want to stream Hyrule Warriors.
Dude.
I'll do it. I'll do it at some point. It needs to happen.
Oh, yeah.
I got to do it. Maybe it'll be this week. I don't know. We'll see. Keep an eye out.
I need to finish freaking Spider-Man.
Yeah. You're not even that far into it, are you?
Hard to say, because I've done a lot of the side mission stuff that boosted up my progression meter.
Uh-oh. Well,
I have no idea.
Well, I guess we'll find out then. Maybe eventually one of these days. Hey, well, that's going to do it for this edition of BumbleKast Gaming. Actually, no, this is just regular BumbleKast, not BumbleKast Gaming. What am I thinking?
You're already hung up on it. You want to stream that Hyrule Warrior something fierce.
I'm already thinking BumbleKast Gaming, because I always end up streaming to BumbleKast Gaming, and so that's what BumbleKast, and the gaming is always like the word after it, right?
It fills your Bumble dreams.
It really does. It really does. Boy. 5 years in and we still have no idea how to end a show. And we never will. Boy.
I kind of ran out of gas at the end there, but oh well.
Nah, I got plenty. Don't worry.
Head over to Ian Flynn at BKC.
Why not? Close it up.
How are we doing on sound? Am I still on point?
You're fine, yeah. I mean,
okay.
Aside from all the moving around you're doing in the microphone.
Sorry.
How dare you? You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
I don't know. Ping me at some point tomorrow and say, hey, are you up for it? And I'll say either, yeah, I got it, or, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to spell, but I'll figure it out.
It's fine. Just, I'll know what you mean. I'll remember. I will
appreciate that.
I will remember. It's one of the few things I just might remember. Noni, we're taking a nap.
Remember the time Ian made a noise. Do you remember the...